Labyrinth of Love, to me, represents the different roads you take and the different paths that you come across when you encounter a partner. And sometimes the relationships that we have with them, they're not that good, they're not that positive, and some of them are really great and memorable.
Well, first of all, it introduces to me the idea that there can be this notion of navigating and negotiating your way through out of this concept of love.
The singer, for example, is weaving her way through these different worlds, these different emotions, until we come to an end.
So you have moments of beautiful, languorous movement, particularly when Estella, one of the incredible dancers, is essentially guided, dragged, lifted around the stage in various ways, sometimes in the most heartbreakingly vulnerable way, and sometimes with such extraordinary determination and muscularity.
This is a piece by Michael Doherty, written for soprano and chamber orchestra.
The piece is based on the poetry by these female poets over 2,000 years.
I listen to the music probably 100, 200, 300 times. And whilst I'm listening, obviously there are images and pictures just flashing in my head. And after the 200th time, whatever images stick are usually, for me, the best ones. So I would start workshopping, creating lots of material so that the material is a bit like building blocks. I will choose 2 dancers or 3 dancers and just say, okay, use the material we've just created, but you can chop it up, do whatever you want, but using the same language.
So it was more like we took the phrases and mixed them up ourselves and then created our own kind of material out of what she had given to us before.
I thought the fact that we have these beautiful singers and they're the same age group as the dancers, so I thought it would be very beautiful to bring them together and to see the source of where the voice comes from.
Because Kirsty and I innocently came along for a meeting with the choreographer, which we thought would be lovely, and we sang a couple of songs, didn't we? Yeah. And then what did she say? Right, pop your shoes and socks off. And so we did. And I don't know, did you think I thought about going home?
Face.
But when you have the soprano singers in the room and they're belting it out while we're dancing, it's like they bring so much emotion and your skin is crawling because of the intensity.
So we do have a couple of little moves and a couple of lifts, which is very exciting.
Yes,
that's my favourite bit.
When you've been brought up in a classical tradition of performing and studying music, I often think that one of the things that we're most anxious about is going wrong. And what I think is really wonderful about watching dancers put something together that starts off in some way improvised or coming from an idea and then it evolves. And there's something so liberating about that.
We're all just learning by working together, which is a really organic process.
You have to be very open, and that's the wonderful thing about collaborating, that you have new impulses, new ideas.
Totally amazing. I can't tell you how in awe of all the dancers I am. I just think they're just so wonderful. I skip home after every rehearsal.
The costumes for the women, we have a dress. Yeah, it's like a dress, kind of going to the mid-thigh with lots of panels. They look like a paper effect.
Yeah.
Connor and Matt, it's been really, really gorgeous working with them, because we sat down and really just started to brainstorm, and you realised immediately everybody just wanted to create a beautiful piece of art.
When I initially read the poems, I felt quite happy with the project because they were all emotive in some way or other. I already had a few videos that I made, which were kind of made as my artworks. They were things just to be viewed as projections or on LCD screens, and they lent themselves quite well to some of the tone of some of the poems.
There's another section where I turn into a creature and I wear 2 different layers of a dress, as a really long dress. Adam, one of the dancers, is going to be underneath me. He'll be holding me on his shoulders.
She becomes this giant of a woman towering above these men that are trying to manipulate her, and she's contorting her body, and she takes on this matriarchal figure, and then she loses her legs and then she tumbles down and becomes a mermaid and really fragile, just floating in the space.
Because he will disappear and I just be left with this really long dress that for me represents like a kind of trail of love.
We played these roles of this man she's been with or she would like to be with. We form like a memory, kind of like almost like a past in a sense for me when I watch it.
I was thinking the other day that really quite a lot of these poems involve sort of a bit of madness, actually. It's a bit like singing a Purcell mad song, sort of Bess of Bedlam, who's been driven mad by love.
Labyrinth of Love, to me, is a long sojourn into the dark night.
You get lost in love, in all different kind of relationships. There will always be a big question mark in everything. You will encounter paths where you've gone through before, or they're kind of open and long, and you'll never know where this is going to go to.
You know, we always pursuing love, because when we have love, then we get this happiness, some kind of sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, and trying to, I guess, whatever situation you are in with regards to love, is to try and find your way through.
So it is like a labyrinth, because sometimes you're going along, you meet somebody and then it doesn't work, and then you have to go another way and then it doesn't work. So you just keep moving along, trying to find the kind of perfect person for you.